go. So these are the class instructions for the Black Death simulation. Joining us today, if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
My name's Eli.
I'm Cassie.
I'm Jackson.
All right, very good. So in this game, it's usually good to have a group of 4. We have a group of 3. That's okay, but it does mean I'll ask one of you to play 2 characters. So to assign your roles, your group is playing a family trying to survive the Black Death. Each of you will play a particular individual or individuals. When you make a decision, try and think about how the person you're playing would act. And it is okay, if necessary, to play multiple roles. So at this time, I'd encourage you, there should be the role cards to go ahead, hand them out. You don't need to hand out, there's one I think for Pizzino. You can discard him. He's just, so the purpose of Pizzino is if you've got groups that are, mathematically you could have like 21 people. So you just make one group of 5. Or no, 19. Like you could have wait, my math's terrible. Let's say you had 17 people. You could have 3 groups of 4 and 1 group of 5.
I can do it if you guys want. And let
Did you want to play
Jackson,
too?
do you want to be Belfonte?
Is it Belfonte or Pizzino? Who's...
This is Belfonte.
I'm saying you should discard Belfonte.
Oh, okay.
Pizzino you want to keep. I confuse the guys.
Got it.
Yeah, because Belfonte is like a little kid, right?
Yes.
And Pizzino is a slightly older child.
Yes.
Every single time I play this game, I play Dado.
You always do Dado. Okay, excellent. Dado's fun. When I learned there was an Italian named Dado, and for our listeners, these are indeed, at least according to the internet, pre-AI. These are all designed pre-AI. According to the internet, these are like 14th century Italian names. So, okay, so each have one. So you notice you have a family position, you have an age, an occupation, and everyone has quirks. For example, Botina loves animals and frequently takes care of sick ones. And you've got weekly earnings and weekly food consumption. You don't need to worry about that. If you, that's mostly there just in case someone wants to expand the game later, but that will not come into play. So you have some counters in your little plastic box. You've got your major resources are soldo and food. Soldo is money, and there should be 1, 5, and 10 denominations. And then we've also got the food, which comes also in 1, 5, and 10. And I redid that to try and find a little bit more, because I think I had like big loaves of like white bread, and I'm like, they didn't eat white bread really in the 14th century. So I tried to find some stuff that was like brown or black bread, trying to be a little more authentic there. So you'll get event cards that are related to your character cards. So for example, Dolce likes to grow roses. So there's an event card where a girl buys a lot of roses, or I'm sorry, neighbor's son is courting a girl and buys a lot of roses from Dolce, so that gives you extra money. Money goes in the lockbox, food goes in the pantry, but there's also sometimes -1, so if she gets distracted by roses, you might get less food. So to measure historical contingency, of course, you have the mighty 20-sided dice. So my first, like I said, this was the first game I ever designed. You can see the Dungeons & Dragons influence, right? The second one was the Vikings game, and you can see that that's really what I was thinking of. Instructors should feel free to change this if they want. Depends on how hard or how easy they want to make it. But your initial setup, you get 2 food in the pantry and 2 soldo in the lockbox. So you want to go ahead and give that to yourself. If you want to be really nice instructors, you would want to give more money or more food. You should give at least 1 so that students know where they go. Right? It's like, okay, that's part of what's trying to teach us is this is where these resources go. So I already calculated the food needed per week. That's 17, so I put like a bread counter on the 17. Under food needed per week, that's at the bottom. Family earnings per week is 25 soldo and 4 food. So again, I'd use a bread counter on the 4 food and a 25 on the soldo. That really shouldn't move during the game. Whenever there's a minus, it's typically only temporary, but there are a couple that makes it go up. But again, that number's there just in case instructors want to make the game harder or easier, right? It depends. Basically, it's just how many students do you want to kill? That's the question that you want to ask yourself.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. So someone say all of them. Wow. Who was that?
Me.
No, then I said that's what I was going to say.
I'm just going to play with you.
This is how you relieve your stress as an instructor. You play a game and like this, and you're just like, okay, these kids are driving.
You need 25 food. You only get 1.
There you go. Okay.
Everyone starts
So-
to play.
Again, as part of the review, if you get I have a question, if you get it right, you gain a soldo counter. So you place that in the locked box, remember soldo's money. Which of my statements about the Middle Ages is false? A, there was tension between church and state, since the church tended to emphasize peace while the state was dominated by nobles who focused on war. B, people were divided into distinct social groups. C, the three social groups were those who work, those who teach, and those who fight, and society was hierarchical, which is false.
C.
Yep, C is correct. Give yourself a soldo, because it's those who work, those who pray. I'm sorry, it's actually, what the original thing was those who work, those who fight, and those who pray. Okay, and this game is divided into weeks. So the first week, add the food and soldo to the lockbox and pantry as noted in the family earnings per week section on the board. Making change.
25.
And one thing, instructors, you want to remind students, generally they're not going to touch the earnings and all that stuff. Sometimes for some reason they would add their stuff there. So it's very important. You want to walk around and make sure, okay, they're putting stuff where it belongs. So draw a card and follow its instructions. Not the starvation cards, but the event cards. That's the correct stack. The one that is blank.
A boy who likes Fortina gave her a she-goat. The family earns 1 extra food per week for the rest of the game from the milk and cheese it provides.
You got like the best card. So that's one place where you actually would increase it. Okay, yeah. Be sure to add or take away food or soldo if an event card requires it.
Do we get to add an extra bread right now, or do we have to wait till the next round?
You could go ahead and do it, yeah. We'll just say that, yeah, you get it now. So now you have to buy enough food until you have enough food as required by the food needed per week section on the board. 1 soldo buys 1 food. Be sure to remove the soldo counters.
We need 10 more food. Right?
Mhm.
All right, so you've taken care of that. And this is the part, again, instructors, you may have to walk around. I want to point, these students are all veterans. I think they played this game like 3 or 4 times while we were playtesting it, so they know how it works. Okay, so now feed everyone by removing the necessary food counters from the pantry. And did you already remove the money? Did you remove the money to add?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so it's good, again, for our instructors to think about, just to help the students not get confused. It's good to actually take away the money and then add the food to the pantry before you take it away.
I forgot
So
what
not
the
doing too much
pantry
in the
was,
head.
and I was like, what's
Okay.
happening? I didn't even look at this.
Now, you can buy up to 10 food if you want to store. You could, if you've got leftover money, you can spend that to start storing some food.
The girl.
I think, yeah. Why not?
And you notice I put a cap on it because I had people who were just like, they knew something was up. But again, for our instructors, again, our students are veterans, they know what's going to happen, but students are sometimes not sure. It's like, oh, is it more important to have money or more important to have food? And you don't tell them what's more important. That's part of the fun of the game, right? We said this was a stress reliever. Okay, so which of the following is not a reason why the Pope called the First Crusade? A, to assist the visiting emperor who was suffering Islamic invasion. B, to convert Muslims to Christianity. C, to retake the Holy Land. Or D, to convince Orthodox Christians to accept the Pope's authority.
I have no idea.
I think it's D.
That's what I
can't know
was
for
thinking,
sure.
but
So what's the final
I'm
response?
comfortable
I think it's D.
Oh, it's actually B, which is surprising. It's
Wow.
counterintuitive. The goal was not to convert Muslims to Christianity, which is it's actually kind of surprising, right? You'd think that was their goal. D actually was correct because there were attempts at union, trying to bring back the 2 wings, and then basically because the First Crusade was launched because not the Holy Roman Emperor, but the Byzantine Emperor said, "Hey, can you all help me?" And the Pope's like, well, hey, if I help them out, then they might be willing to think a little bit more about unifying under my authority. So let's do that. Let's support that.
That makes sense.
So it's kind of counterintuitive. Okay, so this would normally, for our instructors, you want to practice this, play this up. This should be a big surprise. You all know what's coming. But Dato's friend Mordecai Ben Simon comes for a visit. He is a merchant who sometimes buys things from Dato to sell. Mordecai says that he had heard rumors of a terrible disease ravaging faraway towns. So, and one thing that the instructor should note too is that by the name of Mordecai, we know he is Jewish, right? Mordecai ben Simon means Mordecai, son of Simon. That is a Jewish name. Of course, most people in 14th century Italy are Catholic, so that marks him as a little bit different. So now go ahead and add food and soldo to the lockbox and pantry, as described in the family earnings per week section on the board.
And then we get 17 soldo, right? No, 25.
25.
Alrighty. Now draw a card and follow its instructions.
Rats in the pantry. The family loses half of its food. Round it up.
And I think that's my favorite picture. I don't know if you remember the rats one.
8, we lose 8 food.
That's great. That's not, again, this is pre-AI. That's just an image that medieval people actually made, which is one reason studying the Middle Ages is fun. It's like, where is that? Alrighty. Okay, you already did that. So buy enough food until you have enough as required by the food needed per week. Section on the board, 1 soldo buys 1 food. Be sure to remove the soldo counters.
Oh, you need to add it to
Make sure you get
so we
enough
can show
food.
us taking it away.
Alright. And then feed everyone by removing food counters from the pantry. And you can now buy food if you want up to 10.
I think we
Can
should
be
do
so
it
I think
again.
we should do it.
Veterans.
We're doing 10.
Okay, well, I have some news. Your friend Mordecai, Ben Simon, went to run some errands as he prepared to leave, but suddenly you hear a commotion outside. You look outside the window to see what is happening. You see Mordecai being chased by an angry mob. He jumps over the wall around your house and pounds on your back door. What do? Do you let him in and hide him? Do you ignore him? Or do you open the door and grab him and turn him over to the angry mob?
I've literally never done anything except hide him. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's a good game.
Should we get a little crazy?
Well, you are being filmed.
Let's just let him in and hide him.
Yeah, I think we
Right,
let him in and hide him. I don't
And
know.
again, for our instructors, this is kind of an interesting moment because if you're in a group of students, whichever group is the loudest in their discussion will often kind of shape what other groups do. Especially if they say, like, let's let him in and hide him, because other groups will then be ashamed, which I think is kind of good. I mean, I do. Clearly, the right thing to do is to help your friend.
Why'd he go and run
But occasionally
errands?
people do that last one. But of course, as you know, if you let him into your house, one family member needs to roll a d20, and you're trying to get at least a 15. If you had a divine favor card, you could use it, but you don't have any divine favor cards.
Who's got the
Who
best
wants to
roll?
roll? Not me. I did so bad last week.
But maybe you used up all your bad luck.
Use the green one. I like the green
Yes,
one.
I also like the green one.
And
it
I
was
think that's
sitting
going to
on
be the
20.
best luck.
Am I?
Yeah, do it, girl.
Jackson, I believe. Do it for Simon. What was the
5.
5. Okay,
I do not like the green one
Okay,
anymore.
right. So if the score is at least a 15, you successfully hide Mordecai and gain a Divine Providence card. In addition, as you help Mordecai escape the town, later on he gives the family 5 soldo. That is an alternate universe that did not happen. If you fail, the angry mob breaks in, takes Mordecai and kills him, and steals half your food and soldo. Round it up. I mean, you tried to do the right thing, but when you try and protect
I'm sorry, Mordecai.
unfortunately, what can I say, a scapegoated minority, it could be dangerous, which is why people often don't help them. But I do want to point out, you did do the right thing. And one thing, just again for our instructors, the way I explain this is that we assume the worldview of the people in the game is true, right? So if it's a Buddhist game, then karma works. In this game, this is a Catholic culture, so that there's a God who operates, or what I call divine providence. So you do get a divine providence card because God did see that you tried. You sincerely did try, and that lets
I'm
you re-roll.
heartbroken.
I'm literally
I've
so
never-
sad.
I've
That's-
never had
yeah,
Mordecai
that's never
die.
happened to me
You've
before.
always been lucky before. Yeah, no, it's
I just
unfortunate.
murdered Mordecai.
Poor Mordecai. Well, just think how bad you feel, and then there's people who just turn him over.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even like, how could you, or just ignore him? And instructors, you really want to play this up, right? Get people feeling guilty if they do the wrong thing. But it does go to but it does go to a question, right? That this game is trying to ask is like, we often look back in history and, well, I don't want to ruin it. We'll go to the reflection. Questions. Okay, if you do nothing, the angry mob would have just seized him and killed him. And if you turn Mordecai over the family, receives 5 soldo from the leaders of the mob, which then kills him. So if you betray him, they do give you some money. So, I'm sorry. So scapegoat. So here's again for instructors, this is something you would explain. But people didn't quite understand how the plague spread. Some people said this: God is angry. That's why the plague is spreading, and that led to movements of kind of purification. Others said they blamed other people, and one group of people that got blamed were Jewish people, unfortunately. And basically, they're a distrusted minority whose members were often forced into unpopular professions. For example, in many places they couldn't own land, so they would become maybe a money lender. One thing you know, if you've ever loaned money to someone, it's very hard to get it back. And then they act like they're doing you a favor when they pay you back. And sometimes you have to really pester them to get it back. And so no one likes money lenders, even though they need them. And then the problem is, people eventually realize, if we just were to, say, kill the money lenders, we wouldn't have to pay them back. Or exile them, which happened in England, but not in connection with Black Death. But Jewish people were often forced to wear special clothing, so they would be easy to identify, and they might be tortured into confessing, and then that was used as evidence. So in one case, there was an accusation that Jewish people were poisoning the wells, and that's what was spreading the plague. It was a poison that they put in wells, and they would just grab some poor Jewish guy who you could identify easily because of his clothes, and then torture him until he said, "Oh yes, I'm the one who did it." And unfortunately, if you're good at torturing, you can get people to say whatever you want eventually, for the most part. And then this might lead to massacres, and that's what this is depicting: is the burning alive of a large number of Jewish people. Interesting that the Pope and other Catholic leaders did criticize this. They, for example, they would point out, Jewish people are also dying of the Black Death, and if they were poisoning the wells, they would probably not drink from the wells they poisoned, so this makes no sense, but they were unable to stop it, unfortunately, and part of that's just because I think there was just such social animosity and a desire to, get rid of people who you owe money to, unfortunately. Okay, so that's always a downer, unfortunately, especially since we weren't able to save poor Mordecai. So if you get the question right, the family gains a soldo counter. Which of the following statements best describes the 100 Years' War? A, it was a war fought between France and Italy as a struggle for power. B, it was a war fought between France and Italy over who would be Pope. C, it was a war fought between France and England as a struggle for power. It was a war fought between France and England based on religious difference.
C.
See.
C.
You are correct. Right. So, one thing to kind of talk about as we go into week 3, again, some historical background. So like I said, people weren't quite sure what caused the disease, and there were different theories. Like I said, one was God's mad at us, and others people are poisoning us. A third was contagion. So they didn't know what they didn't understand viruses, of course, but they did understand, hey, if someone's sick and I'm around a sick person, I might get sick too. And so they understood that. So what would happen is, around Italy, they started building these things called lazarettos, and you can see they also came to the United States. Like when I looked up lazaretto, that was an image that came up was lazaretto in Pennsylvania, right? So they still kept these ideas around, but the idea of a lazaretto was you could, if you were like sailors coming into a place, you'd have to dock there and stay there for 40 days. And then anyone who was sick, right, would run its course because they're isolated. And they picked 40 days because that was a biblical number, but it also turns out that that's long enough, right? That if someone is sick, they won't spread it. And of course, it's named in reference to Lazarus. And the idea is that it's like the people come to the island. It's like they're dead. They're treated like dead people, right? They're isolated from everyone, but then they're raised back to life like Lazarus was. So that's the story there. So there are rumors that the strange disease is ravaging a nearby town. So lazarettos are being established. So that would be helpful. So go ahead and add food and soldo to the lockbox and pantry as described in the food earnings per week section on the board. And draw a card and follow its instructions.
Pazino went to a church to pray and forgot to go back to work. Remove 3 soldo from the lockbox.
Pazino. Alrighty. So you did that. So now buy enough food as required by the food needed per week. But now, because of limited supply and hoarding, 2 soldo is needed to buy 1 food.
So 14.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie, you seem really torn up.
Yeah, it's really
Was that
sad.
a cough or was that a
No, it was a cry.
Oh, no.
I was crying.
Okay, feed everyone by removing food counters from the pantry. When you got, it really was bad luck. You did try and help, which was the right thing to do, but it hurt you.
Rats and Mordecai, right?
And then the rats ate all the food. So now you can buy additional food if you want,
Yes.
So it costs 2 now.
but it costs 2.
So we can get 7.
I have a feeling it's only going to get more expensive.
Yeah. This is incredible.
Something tells me.
the 3 other times you. So for our instructors listening, that's the key mechanic. So what would have happened if you didn't have enough food is you would draw the starvation counters. I wanted to be on the record. I think Elias, you're the one that recommended the starvation deck because I used to have this really weird system that was really clunky.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that really improved it.
Good, I'm glad.
All right. Which statement best describes university life for students in medieval Europe? A, it was similar in some ways to how things are today, that the universities were public and secular, that is, non-religious. B, it was similar in some ways to how things are today, with students not having enough money and parents pressuring them to study hard. C, it was very different because university students in medieval Europe were religious and therefore worked harder and caused less trouble than students today. D, it was very different because university students were much lazier than students today because they were comparatively wealthier.
I believe it's
B,
B.
right?
Yeah,
Pretty sure
I
it's
remember
B.
that one.
Yeah, no, it was B, and this was meant to be kind of a free question that I thought was funny, especially this idea that medieval students didn't cause trouble. I really wanted that in because they would have like in the lecture about like they would riot if they didn't like the professor and like throw things at the instructors. And Middle Ages is crazy. It's so much fun. Oh no, cases begin to appear
Goodness
in your
gracious,
town.
man.
So add your food and soda to the lockbox and pantry as described in the family earnings per week section on the board. And then draw your card.
Oh. Divine Providence.
Oh, very good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
See, I knew I was doing something right by handing it to you.
There you go. Very good. Very good. And just I do want to point, this is why playtesting is important, because I used to have people draw the card first before they put their resources down. And I'm like, you have to remember this. And it's like, why not just give them their resources first and then draw the card? Like that just makes, but it took me like 2 or 3 years to realize that I should do it that way. Okay, so be sure to add food or take it away. So buy enough food until you have enough as required by the food needed per week.
This time.
3 Soldo buys 1 food owing to a limited supply and hoarding. Be sure to remove the Soldo counters.
So he has to pay 15, and then we get 5 more food.
Alrighty. So feed everyone by removing food counters from the pantry. That goat is coming in clutch. That's
Yes,
like
it
the
is.
thing that's keeping you all alive. I need goat cards so people can name the goat.
Goat. Goat the goat.
Goat the goat, yeah. All right, you can store up to 10 food if you like, if you want to purchase food.
We
Eat
can
it.
afford 3 food.
Yes. Better than no food.
Oh yeah. Alrighty. So for our instructors, this is where you would maybe play a video that talks about the symptoms of the Black Death and some other issues. We will not do that here. I see Cassie is not enjoying looking at
Gross.
what it looked like. And this is important. And one thing for the instructors to think about, one reason you show this is you do want to get people to understand this was nasty. You do not want it. You do not want to be around people that want it because we really want to get students to be afraid, right, of what the disease does.
That video is gnarly.
Smell bad.
You remember the video?
I do remember
You
the
do
video.
remember the video? Okay, so that was several years ago you took that class. So very good. So who was Urban II? A Catholic reformer who believed he was called to defend England against France. B, a Catholic reformer who believed God had called him to rebuild the church. C, the Pope who called the First Crusade. Or D, the Pope who started the Protestant Reformation.
It's not deep.
Are you sure?
100% sure about that one.
I feel like it's A or B.
I was
But I can
gonna
be
say
correct.
B, but
Okay, let's do B then, because I wasn't gonna say either of those answers. So
were you gonna say C?
I was, but let's
We
not
can
listen to
see.
me.
We
Let's
can
not
see.
listen to me, because last time we listened to me it was wrong.
That's okay. If your gut's telling you C.
What if you guys have it right though?
I don't know.
I just literally had this conversation with Riley. You're out about a game that she played with her students where they kept trusting the wrong person each time they answered the question. So
I don't trust myself. So.
Let's do rock, paper, scissors. Ready?
Okay.
And then if I win, it's C, and if you win, it's B. Okay, ready?
That sounds good.
This is very scientific.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. No, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, it's C.
So in Indiana, if we had a rules argument when we were playing basketball, we had this. It was interesting because it goes to how people can use religious. I don't know if I want to say religious, but it's kind of like a religious legitimization because we said the ball never lies, so we would take a shot. And if you get the shot, you were right. And the saying was the ball never lies. So in this case, rock, paper, scissors never lies. So so it's interesting though, because of course it makes no sense. We claim that there's not a rational foundation to say the ball never lies, but it was useful as keeping social order.
Yeah.
Right. So we utilized it. So it's kind of interesting. Okay. Oh no, quarantine has become stricter. So please add your food and soda to the lockbox. Draw a card and follow its instructions.
Dado sang badly, driving away customers. Remove 3 soda from the lockbox.
Guys.
Dado, what the heck?
Dado, how could you?
I'm a bad man.
We can't even have good singing at a time like this.
I must have had a little too much wine.
Buy enough food you have, or buy enough food until you get what you need. It's now 4 soda buying 1 food, owing to limited supply.
We can only buy 6 foods.
So we're gonna starve. Question?
I don't know yet.
No, wait.
That's 13. That's 14. So we're gonna start. 3.
Okay, so for our instructors, this is designed so that by this turn or the previous turn, students should eventually run out of food. That's the goal because we want to show the link between health and being able to eat enough. So if you don't have enough food, draw a starvation card for each missing food. You don't have to do anything. You just give the starvation card to the person whose name is on it.
So 3.
Yep. Do we remove the food?
Yeah, go ahead and remove the food.
Dado.
You're only down 3 food?
Yep.
Excellent. Very good. Even though you had some bad luck, but again, even go. Oh no. Terrible news. Someone has been infected by the Black Death. So everyone rolls a health check. So you would roll a 20-sided dice, subtract the number of starvation cards you have. For instance, if you had a 14 and have 3 starvation cards, your modified roll would be an 11. 14 minus 3 is 11. You cannot use a Divine Providence card to re-roll because you're against each other.
Oh, I have to roll 2 because I have 2 cards. Oh.
Good.
So who had the lowest?
Oh,
They're still rolling.
Me. Dado did.
Oh, Dado, that singing. You're being punished for your singing sins. So whoever has the lowest number has fallen ill. The family must decide whether to place that person in a separate room without food and water, place that person in a separate room and choose a family member to bring food and water to the sick person. It's important that you clearly identify which family member is doing this. Place that person in a separate room and choose a family member to bring food and water and stay and take care of them. Or the family cannot come to a consensus. As patriarch, Dado makes the final decision.
What does Dulce contribute to the family?
Trying to kill her off.
No, I just want to know. I'm
4
not...
soda and 3 food.
Okay, so that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
How much does Pizzino
Well,
contribute to the
Pizzino doesn't contribute very much. He contributes 6 soldo, and then he eats 4 food. And at this point, 6 soldo is only 1.5 food. So he's eating more than he's contributing.
Send him in there.
All right, it's Pizzino.
So Pizzino, what will Pizzino do? Will he
He's going
just bring food, or will he actually stay and actively take
I
care
thought
of
I
them?
got
Bring
final
the
say in
food.
this.
You do.
If they can't come to consensus.
I think he
Okay,
just brings the
okay,
food,
okay.
right?
That's best, but we could make
You
him
want to
stay.
send Pizzino to his death on
I want
purpose?
So one thing I do want to point out, if you look at Pizzino, the last when I played this game remember you were helping me get ready for the conference. When I played there, the guy who played Pizzino was really serious and said he looked at him and he said, "Yeah, he would go." Right, because he's the one who's really religious, who would be like, "This is what God's calling me to do. Take care
That
of my
is
sick
true. He
dad."
does want to be a priest.
So if you want to play in character, that's Pizzino would probably go along with it.
All right, he can go stay with Dado.
All right, and this is in fact what happened was a lot of like that you had all these like really good priests and nuns who were like, we're going to help take care of the sick, and then they all died.
You're gonna kill my
It
son.
was sad.
That's okay. That's okay.
Look,
He
you
wanted
got, but
to.
you got the divine providence, right? So you've got that on your side. Okay, so we have to figure out, does the sick person survive? The sick person rolls a d20 and subtracts the number of starvation cards they have. Remember the total.
Okay.
17.
Alrighty. If you were put in a separate room alone without food and water, subtract 10. That did not happen to you. If you were put in a separate room alone, but someone brought you food and water, subtract 5. That did not happen to you. If you were brought food and water and someone take care of you, add 3.
Wow, the 20.
20.
20. If you had at least a 14 or more, you survived. If you had less than 14, you die, but a Divine Providence card can be used to re-roll. Make sure to modify your roll, as stated above.
Good choice, Jackson. That's good.
If you die, your instructor has a special card for you. So if no one died, but there are ghost cards. Right, so I'll give you a ghost card so you can see what would have happened if you would have died.
Survived.
So basically, you can make a family member re-roll dice and make them keep the higher number or lower number. But for our instructors, this is good to do just because people, if they die, it's kind of disappointing, right? They don't get to do anything. One other thing you can think to include if you want to really go after people who let Mordecai die is that you can also have him come back as a vengeful ghost and force a re-roll. So that's something that I've done in the past. I didn't include it here just to keep things simple. But if instructors are just like, oh my gosh, my students are just throwing away this poor guy's life, that's how you can, within the game, you've been cursed by a ghost. Okay. So now here's the question, did any other family members catch the plague? So anyone who was not sick rolls a d20, subtracts the number of starvation cards they have. So just remember that number. And then you gotta roll twice, right?
Yep.
Eli?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
If you brought food and water but not stay, subtract 5. If you brought food and water and stayed with your sick family member, subtract 10. If you had a total of 14 or more, you stayed healthy.
Okay. Both my
A Divine Providence card can be used to re-roll. You've got 2 if you want. But who became sick?
Pizzino and Fotina right now are both going to get sick. Pizzino's going to get sick no matter what because he
Right.
stayed and he has to subtract 10. But I could re-roll for Fotina and she could live. What do you guys think?
It's not necessarily that you die, it's that you get sick.
She won't get sick.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah. I
It
see
depends
that.
on how you want to game it out. So you're going to spend, and you can spend both if you still don't like the roll.
Okay, well,
Do you want to use the
Again.
other one?
Again.
sure. I'm not using that. I'm using the purple one. I like this one. Cool. 10 again, so.
So and then not good enough. So
Yeah.
poor Fotina did not make it. Dolce made her check.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think because she wouldn't have any subtractions.
But I just want to make sure you
Yeah,
roll for
she
her. Okay,
did.
very good.
Fotina and Pizzino were both
So this
sick
is
now.
where instructors may want to ask how many people get sick to just as a visual reminder of how bad the disease was. That's part of the point of the game is to just see, holy cow, this stuff spreads really quickly. Okay, so now we have to see, did you survive? So just again, for the sake of simplicity, we don't do the whole taking care of people for this second round. Instructors, if they want to modify the PowerPoint, they certainly could to do that. So if you became ill, roll a d20, subtract the number of starvation cards you have.
Okay, 19.
If you had at least a 14 or more, you survived. If you had less than 14, you die.
10. Pizzino dead.
Pizzino dead. How about Dolce or Fotina?
She's alive.
Fotina survived. Okay, and that's what. So I do have to tell you. So the poor guy who was like a hero who played Pizzino and went to help, like he survived, or he got sick, of course, but then he rolled and made the survivor thing. But that's when they had the Mordecai rule. His group, despite his opposition, had not helped Mordecai,
Wow.
and so he got cursed and died. And it was really sad because he was like, "But I'm the one that helped Mordecai." And again, for our instructors, you just want to think about what kind of world do you want students to experience? I felt very bad for Pizzino there because he played really well. But Pizzino might be even happy that. All right, so we did lose one person, and but the rest of the family did survive. So did okay, you could say. So according to this simulation, how was the Black Death a biological event?
It was a sickness,
Yep.
so it's biological in that way.
Yeah.
Right, excellent. And that's, again, for our instructors, that may seem like kind of a no-brainer, but the idea is what we're going to, it sets it up for what we do next. How is it an economic event?
Because you had to
As
make money to buy food,
yeah.
and then the food went up, which made it harder.
Yeah,
to
as it
survive.
progressed, it got more expensive and then made it harder.
Right. Yep, Mary, just for our people listening to this, I think that I first ran this game in 2021. And it was, we were still
chiming.
dealing with-
Trigger.
I do think people were wearing masks. It wasn't required where we were at, but it was a lot of students were still wearing masks when we first played it. And how was it a social event?
Well, like the goat, for example, those cards, the goat helped us out a lot.
We also had the Mordecai thing. So,
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the impact of being Jewish in the first place, and then your choices in regards to helping people or not helping people.
Right, yeah, this had a social impact, right? In this case, poor Mordecai, I mean, he maybe would have survived. You know, the disease had not got him, but his fellow human beings did, unfortunately. And I just noticed, Eli, you had the perfect sweater. for
Oh,
our event today.
yeah.
I don't know if you
Yes.
intended that.
I did
but it's
not,
good. I
no.
like that. There's the birds at the bottom, too. You got the
Yeah.
ravens. Speaking, I do want to point. So someone made a funny meme where it said Corvid detector, and it said COVID, and they were like aiming it at a bird, and it said yes, and it was like a raven.
That's funny.
That's the words. So I'm sorry. What did you do when the mob wanted to capture and kill Mordecai? Why did your family act in that way?
We hid him because that was the right thing to do.
Right? Yeah, and he was your friend, right? Like I tried to establish that. It's like he's your buddy. And unfortunately, you suffered from doing the right thing, which again, the instructors may want to think about this. This is why people sometimes don't do the right thing, right? What did you do? What did you and your group do when someone became ill with the Black Death? Why did people act that way?
Jackson sent Pizzino in to help with Dado, but I think it was a good decision because, like you pointed out, he is the religious one. Probably would have made that decision on his own if he was a real person.
Right. I like that we had you intervene into the mom too, because that makes it even harder to say no. It's like if your mom tells you to go take care of your sick dad, it's kind of
Gee, I didn't know you were a
kind
mom.
of hard to say no. So, right, yeah. So, and it's interesting because most groups do not do what you did. Most groups, they do the halfway thing where they bring food and water. They don't actually take care of them. And I guess that's just it's like, okay, they're just trying to be like, this is enough that I don't feel bad, but not enough that I'm in too much danger. Like, it's interesting. Human beings, we like to compromise, right? We like to hedge. So that was interesting. And then some people just abandon them, and I'm like, that's your
That one's
family
sad.
member.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, no, people do that, right? But again, that's choices people made. That really did happen, where they would abandon family members. So how well do you think things went for your family, and why do you think it went that way?
I think they went fine.
Other than
We only lost
casino.
one person.
Yeah.
Well, and Mordecai. Rest in peace. We were almost able to get through the whole thing by having enough food.
And we only had
had
3 starvation
Yeah.
cards, yeah. And 1 person out of 4 in the Black Death sounds like a good ratio to me.
Yeah, I mean,
I
different
agree.
numbers are given, but sometimes it's like I think a third die. So 25% is less than 33. So
True.
it could have been much worse. You did draw poorly, in a sense, because you got that one, and you got the Mordecai one, which isn't as good. So, but eventually you did run out, and that's one thing. For instructors, if you want to make things worse for the students, an easy way to do that is just add 1 more week.
If we didn't get the Mordecai thing and the rats thing, we would have had no starvation cards.
Right, yeah, and that's a possibility, right? That's a possibility. And that's, again, for instructors, it's just how difficult do you want this to be? Because it's enough that students, I don't necessarily want people to starve, but I want them to be stressed about starving.
True.
And that gets the lesson home without people, because one thing I found is that, I do these surveys, some people get upset at the games. Like, they're like really upset. Like, what's your least favorite thing? Losing. All of those. But I'll have people like, I had one student, like I actually threw out her results in the survey because it was clear she was just angry because I wouldn't let her sell her camels
That's really
in the
funny.
game. And it was just like, it won for everything. Like it was the lowest rating, even though that everything else she said was good. And I'm like, okay, you're just angry at me. You're doing this. Okay. So these are more just, did the mechanics work? If not, which mechanic did not seem to work and how could it be fixed?
I think
I
it
thought it was
worked.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is thanks to you all. You worked with me for a year. Like it seemed like we worked on this dang game, and we finally got it to be okay. Did you have a least favorite part?
Never. I never did.
Did you have a most favorite part?
I think the starvation cards worked well.
I
like
agree.
that.
It made it like easier to keep track of too.
Oh yeah, I had
Yeah.
this crazy system where like people could die and you had health, and it was like it just made the game so clunky. So I'm glad again Eli mentioned it or suggested it because it's a very elegant, I think, solution, and that's you just want to reduce friction in the game. Like I say, for our instructors, if you want more people to starve, just add another week. At either four soda per food or 5 soda per food or something like that. Or you can make the starvation cards worse. You can say like subtract 2 for each starvation card. Or, lots of ways you can play with it. Any other comments before we wrap this up?
Looked good.
Yeah, I like this game a lot. I think it works very well.
Excellent. Good work.